Right off the bat, just answer your friends out there, your allies who are highly suspicious of this. They think the president either did this so that you're not in for the long haul, only in this temporary presidential appointment, or that he did it because he just didn't have the backbone to fight for your confirmation.
You know, I spent a lot of time in conversation with the president over the last few weeks, and we see completely eye to eye on this consumer agency. And remember, that's not new. This predates his becoming a senator, that we have talked about this agency and what it can mean. And I am convinced that he has given me the tools needed to get the job done. So I'm going to pick him up and try to do that.
Does this mean taking the presidential appointment as a special advisor, that under no circumstances would you actually be the nominee down the road, or is that still a possibility?
What it means is that I'm going to focus on getting this job done starting right now. We really had the option, and I should probably be candid about this. Nomination was on the table as something under discussion, but what nomination meant is that we spend a year and a lot of energy fighting, and number one, I don't get to talk, which bothers me, but number two, I don't get to work. And it delays that long getting started on this agency. So instead, the law is clear on this point. It says the Treasury has the power to get this agency up and running. You know, millions of American families are hemorrhaging money right now, today and tomorrow and next week, on tricks and traps in credit products. We're going to fix that. That's what this agency is about, and we're not going to wait a year to get started.
Try one more time
Sure.
on the idea for those out there who still would like you to ultimately be the director of this agency. Is that a possibility, or does this take that off the table?
I'm sorry, but what I really want to say and what I am telling you, and this is what the president and I talked about, I want to worry about Monday. I want to worry about this week and the week after, about getting this thing started. That's what this is all about. That's what he asked me to do. He gave me the tools to do it. And listen to me, I am really glad to have the chance to do it. I want to do this.
Students of government and conspiracy theorists of government always look when there's an appointment like this and try to follow the line of command. Mm-hmm. You report both to the Secretary of the Treasury and to the President of the United States. That last part has some of your friends breathing a sigh of relief because they've watched in public during the TARG oversight hearings, and they've seen you spar with Secretary Geithner from time to time. If you call 3, 4, or 5 of your friends, they will tell you that you have said some things to them not terribly complimentary of the Treasury Secretary. It's pretty clear, talking to your friends and in the public domain, that there's been a testy relationship there. Can this work?
I think it can. I mean, the first thing we always want to start with is I came to Washington as part of the Congressional Oversight Panel to do a job. And that was to ask tough questions on behalf of the American public on how TARP money was being spent and what policies were being pursued. And that's what I've done. Now, what the President of the United States has asked me is to join this team and try to work again on behalf of the American people to stand up this consumer agency. Now, I should be clear here. I've had many conversations with Secretary Geithner about this. You know, no one should forget, when we're talking about the consumer agency, that not only has the President been deeply supportive about this from the beginning, the Secretary of the Treasury has been very supportive about the consumer agency. He never negotiated it away, never tried to weaken it. He was in there for a strong consumer agency from start to finish. When you share that vision with the President, with the Secretary of the Treasury, myself, and they're willing to say, here are the tools to get the job done, then I believe it's worth picking them up and giving it a try.
Why don't bankers like you?
Well, I don't know. I thought they did. No?
No.
No. So, all right, come on. I shouldn't be cute. There are bankers, sure, who don't like me. Some of them haven't met me. Some of them have seen enough. But the reality is, it depends on where the problems are. There's some bankers who like me. People who want to put out good, simple products that folks can understand and understand the price, understand what the risks are, exercise their own personal responsibility about whether or not they want to do it. Those are bankers, I think, who are going to welcome this consumer agency. because they're actually going to have a better shot in a competitive marketplace when they're not competing against bankers who figured out how to make their profits on tricking people and trapping them.
You talk about the importance of starting Monday. Mm-hmm. What's the most immediate thing? What's priority number one in terms of doing something that sends a signal to the industry and to the consumers who might be looking for help?
There's going to be a meeting on Tuesday to start to talk about mortgage disclosures and trying to work on the kinds of information that consumers get before they make a choice among mortgages. That's the sort of thing that gets the market up and running. We're talking about Tuesday.
Every time a law is passed, it has this thing called an effective date. Mm-hmm. And until that date comes about, it's funny to watch any industry. We've watched it in healthcare since the healthcare reform law passed, and now we're seeing some evidence of it since the financial overhaul law passed. Do you see things out there that you believe the banks are deliberately doing and others in the industry are deliberately doing to try to either create new loopholes or create new fee structures and the like before you're in place?
You know, I turned to a study by the Pew Charitable Foundation in which they were studying the responses of the credit card companies to the new pieces of law that have come in already about changes in credit card rules. And basically what they said were, of all the new rules coming in, the industry had already figured out how to get around most of them by readjusting a little this way, moving a little that way. That is exactly why we got to have a consumer agency. We can't go through this business of, you know, you erect 10 fence posts out on the prairie and then the banks try to kind of run one way or the other. That's not the relationship we should have with the financial services industry. It's not good for consumers. It's not good for the economy. It's not good for the business. So what this is really going to be about is an agency that says, let's think of a new way to do this, that makes these products simpler, easier to understand, no fine print, no tricks, no traps. Get it out there where people can read it, compare them, and may the best product win.
And so somebody out there who may have had a hard time with their credit card company or their bank sees you in this new job, and they might start asking a question that they see all the time on TV, on the radio, and it's this one. What's in your wallet?
I have 2 credit cards and a driver's license and 3 pictures of my little granddaughters.
Have you ever had a fight with any of those companies?
Nope. Didn't need to.
One last question
Sure.
in closing. Something you wrote in a book that you wrote a long time ago. And you talked about how First Lady Hillary Clinton was a great help to you when you were working with Mike Sinar on some bankruptcy laws back in the day. But then Senator Hillary Clinton from New York, you said this. As New York's newest senator, however, it seemed Hillary Clinton could not afford such a principled position. Big banks were now part of Senator Clinton's constituency. She wanted their support, and they wanted hers. Is it that easy? Is it that easy? Is the Congress for sale?
No, I don't think it's Congress is for sale. I think the real point is what the president said this afternoon in his remarks. You know, he said it when he said that the big banks have had plenty of representatives in Washington. They've been able to make their point of view heard loud and clear. What my appointment is about is making sure that the point of view of middle-class families is also heard loud and clear.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.